Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savedich, and we got a heartbreaking loss tonight as the RailCats fall an extra inning to the Kane County Cougars 3-2. Hopefully trying to take the series and moving just one game behind the Cougars in the standings. Cougars on third place, RailCats in fourth. I have a lot to actually. I'm actually more frustrated at the loss than accepting of the loss, if that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and break it down here real quick. Nothing going into the starting pitching was Harrison Francis and Jose. Let's get it here. Jose Fantus. Harrison, he went 5.2 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, which was earned, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And Jose went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, and 2 walks with 6 strikeouts. So where that leads us is to the third inning, where the Cougars did score in the third. It started off with Lopez grounding out to Walraven, and then Cribbs. Cribbs had a crippling walk, no pun intended here. Harrison walked him on 4 pitches, and I always put the Trey. De La Trinidad came in and he hit an RBI double. Then Lombardozzi came in and he singled, but then Randolph grounded out. It turned into a 6-4-3 double play, or 4-6-3 double play. There we go. On that, Lombardozzi actually hit a bunt to move Trinidad over, but that didn't go anywhere on that aspect of it. Then the next inning over. And the fourth inning, Lingua, he grounded out to first, and then Cruz finally, after what is this, the 37th, 38th game of the season, finally hits a home run. He's in the cleanup spot, and he finally hits a home run. You have how many other players? Chris Burgess hit double the amount of that. Sam Abbott has hit almost triple that. Or 6 like that. I'm pretty sure he has 6 on the board. Woodworth has 2. Lingua has 2. Like, all these people are hitting home runs except him, and he's in the cleanup spot. Now, not knocking that he did produce offensively, as far as he went 2 for 3 and he had a walk. All right, so his offense is slowly getting there. I'm not saying that he's offensively starting to get better, right? But I just don't see him in the 4th spot. When I look at this lineup, I see Mariaga should be maybe in the 4th spot. Abbott, Burgess, someone who has some more consistency, more power to him. I don't know. It just I sit there and I look at it, and he's the cleanup hitter, and okay, he finally hits a home run when you've had other people that have hit home runs that need to hit home runs behind him for that power. But on the flip side of that, I think they are pushing themselves too far on the power aspect of a thing and not having enough speed. Okay, so when you look at the 3 people, the 3 people I look at that they got rid of, which is Davion Williams, KV Edwards, and MJ Rookard. Okay, those 3 people are speed. I don't really much about Davion Williams. But for sure, Rookard and Edwards were speed demons. And I think in this game, you needed the speed demons. So I'll get into that in a second when we break it down in the later innings here. So there was nothing going on through the rest of the game. I mean, that the 3rd and 4th were the only scoring plays. And I need to go back because this was I'm just kind of looking through the defensive aspect here. I think this was the 7th inning. I want to see how they scored this one. Um, because it was a fielder's, they gave it a 5.6. Okay, that all right. See, that I don't quite understand that. So, Penteo came up and he bunted the ball, right? And Wall Raven came in because I think at this point it was Busby. Yeah, Busby was on first. The error on the first baseman. I don't really remember what quite happened there. Um, how that all happened. Um, but I was confused by, because I guess I gave Busby a single, so I don't know where the error came in. It looked like it shouldn't have been an error. That's beside the point. The scoring seems to kind of be off recently here on point streak and how they're scoring things, anyways. Um, but so they have it marked down as 5.6. All right, so in a bunt situation to the left side of the field, if Wall Raven is crashing in, okay, and in my eyes, Wall Raven's crashing in and Lingua should be covering third. All right. Or they're having the left fielder, which is a far enough run anyways as it is, for Wells to cover third. But in my sense, you have third baseman going for the ball, shortstop covering third, second covering first, or not first, covering second, right? So I don't know what that asks, because if that ball goes, not even saying that Lingua, it's a wild throw where Lingua just drops the ball. There's no one sitting at third base. Easily Busby can go to third. So in that aspect, I don't understand what the mindset behind that is. I also couldn't really tell, because I'm just gonna be honest. Today was probably the worst production the RailCats could have put out for a game. I Javian made a beautiful catch in center field, and guess what? I didn't see it, because they had the damn camera set up looking at, I don't know, the pitcher or something. There was nothing there. I couldn't see anything. I get it. I completely understand it. It is an American association. It's independent ball. It's way 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 on the bottom of the total poll. But at this point in the season, they've had so many better broadcasts, but I don't know what was going on, if they just didn't have enough people. What I just some of it was just frustrating. I missed a handful of pitches, a handful of outs, because they were on a loading screen of some sort. I don't know. I don't quite understand. I look at other, that's the beautiful thing about AA baseball TV, is that every team runs it differently. And the RailCats just don't seem to have run it like other teams. And I don't know if it's just they don't have the numbers for it, which if they don't have that, I completely understand that. I get it. It's a smaller baseball, this and that. It's maybe hard to get people involved in it, but there are people that can call me up. Shit, I'll do it. Like, I'll go to a ball game and I'll sit there and push some buttons and do it. I'll do it. Shit. I'll have fun at a baseball game. But that's beside the point. Some things, I guess I'm just more frustrated with the outcome of the game. So going into the 10th here, so with the new rules, a runner starts on second. So Busby started at second. And then Pentejo grounded out to first. And then Lopez hits a single. And this is another one I didn't see what happened because the camera angle was jacked up. Lopez hit a single, and Busby scored. Yep, that's what he scored. And then, hold on. How am I? Yeah, he scored. Lopez. Hold on, I gotta go back because some reason I wrote this off wrong. So Trinidad, I must have missed him on this one. Somehow, some way. That doesn't make any sense. I must not wrote down Cribs correctly, or so I missed something. All right, so I think it was Lopez that got thrown out at third, or the plate. He got thrown at the plate. It was an 8-6-2. That would have brought in another run. But then this was the dagger. Okay, this was the dagger here. All right, so Cribs is sitting on third. And they're classifying as a wild pitch. In my eyes, that's not a wild pitch, because I didn't see the ball bounce, and it looked like Cruz did one of his kind of backhands, and it goes in, and he did. There's multiple times in this game, and there's been multiple times where he's trying to throw runners out. He grabs the ball, he goes to pull, and it falls out of his hands. I have never seen so many people drop a ball in their freaking hand in my life when trying to throw someone out. It's like he has a great arm when he can get the ball down there. He threw, it was, I have it written down here. It was Cribs, actually. He got caught on a throwback to first in a pickle situation. Great job by Cruz. He did wonderful. But there has been 2 games that they have classified as wild pitches, which is pass balls to me. They're pass balls. Just because a ball may hit the dirt, there was no reason that ball should have gotten to the backstop. Like, that ball went everything. Cruz should have gotten in the way and stopped. He has a hard time blocking balls. He just doesn't move fast. All right. You can call it what it is, or you can do whatever you want to say. You can defend it, or he can defend it however he wants. But to me, that's just something you have to stop. The game is on the line. You have to put your body out there. You have to try and stop every ball that gets to you. You know what you're going to call. You have to try and stop it. Not every time is it on the pitcher. The wild pitches and pass balls are such a finicky line of what is and what isn't, in my eyes. But then we go over here into the bottom of the ninth. Walraven sitting on second. Wells struck out looking, which he did. He didn't struck out. He struck out looking only once today. And then Woodworth gets a single. And so, this is what happened. How did I not write it down? I thought I wrote it down correctly, that there was a pop out. Why did I not write that down? Who was it that did it? Or was that in the third? My bad. That was in the ninth. This was back in the ninth here. This is where I want to get. Back in the ninth, I was up an inning. Back in the bottom of the ninth, Mariaga gets on with a single. All right. So Mariaga doesn't seem like a very fast guy. All right. So in my mind, he's the DH. Okay. And when looking at when we're gonna sit here and we're gonna look at the RailCats roster. All right, real quick, and I see there's no one else that they could have put in the game that has any ounce of potential speed to them. Okay, I get it that you need a lot of pitchers, but realistically, so far, there's only been a handful of pitchers that are constantly being used, right, as relievers. Jack Eisenbarger has been it. Aaron Phillips is one of them. Josh Vincent's a big one. But outside of that, they don't hardly ever. They sign people because they lost Carlos Vega. They lost Leaf Strom. But they're just not using any. And I guess Nick Garcia, but he's been more of a starting pitcher than anything. But you get rid of KV Edwards, you get rid of MJ Rookard, you get rid of Davion Williams, who would have given you the potential speed. You don't need always, okay, you could use Zach Rakusin, but I'm not saying he's the fastest guy in the world. Chris Burgess, he ain't the fastest guy in the world. You're not going to use them. You have to have in this situation, you put a fast guy on and you try to get him to second. And then you worry about Oleg trying to bunt the freaking ball. Right? That's in my head, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I would have done. Not saying I'm not in Lamar Rogers' shoes. I'm not in the front office of the RailCats and saying this is what should be done. Right? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is this what I would have done and wouldn't have worked out? Maybe, maybe not. If Oleg wouldn't have popped the ball up to the pitcher, it might be a different situation. But, okay, you flip it on this side. Oleg gets the bunt down. He sacrifices him. Mariaga gets the second. I mean, you have Abbott and Walrus. You have Abbott who is strictly going to either be extra bases or a home run. So I guess when I'm looking at the lineup here, I would have just let Oleg just swing the bat. But when you look back, he struck out, struck out looking. He grounded out the third, and then he struck out looking again. So in that situation, all right. In all fairness, he's not really doing anything productive, so just let him bunt the ball. Well, he couldn't do that. And that's not a knock on him. Bunting is very hard. Bunting is a very hard aspect of the game. It seems so easy, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Abbott comes out and strikes out. I mean, he went 0 for 4, but he struck out twice. He flew out and lined out. And then Walraven came in and he popped out. He popped out the shortstop, but it was like behind third base and that kind of went down the foul lines. So realistically, nothing really happened productively out of that. But I'm just saying, I think in that aspect of things, I would have liked to see them pinch run for Mariaga for someone a little bit more speed. Maybe Jackson Smith, maybe he had the speed. But you have a bunch. I look up and down the lineup and, okay, Langlois, Woodworth, and Williams, I guess you could put Wells out there, are your potential speedy guys. Maybe Oleg. But outside of that, you don't have anyone that can just come off the bench and be a pinch runner. So, yes, when looking back at some of the transactions that have been done, I understand the reasoning behind it, but yet again, you also need people that are specialty in some situations. Speedy guys are very important, and to have that speed in these situations, yeah, it may be rare, but this could win you games. It could go down further down the line. This could have been a tied 1-1 game, and Mariaga could have hit a triple or whatever the case may be, and he could be sitting at third with one out, and you have Oleg comes up and he hits a sacrifice fly, say just right to left field. And the guy has to come in a couple steps and make the play. If you have a speedy guy, you have a chance at the plate. But you keep Mariaga there, your chance is blown. And in just a situation like this, you get a guy that hits a single, he gets on base, you substitute him. They may know what you're going to do. All right, they may know that you're going to steal, but you have to have a good base runner on the base path to realize that. And sometimes speed, you need that speed because you never know. Sometimes you make a mistake, but with that speed will get you to that distance. I guess in my eyes, I'm looking at it as this is an important series to win, right? And you go out and you win the first game of the series, right? And then you have a meltdown and you lose 10-4. And then you hold the game. You your pitching shuts the opponent down, but your hitting just isn't there, and vice versa. Kane County had a good pitcher at that point. But this is a game you needed to win, and you have to pull all the stops to win. And I just don't feel like that was there. I don't feel that they have the roster now to pull the stops out and say, all right, let's go. I don't feel that you need people in certain situations. Baseball is not all about home runs. It's there has to be some element of surprise, some kind of speed. You start out the season by small ball, and now that's just because people are hitting the ball hitting the ball all over the field and out of the park. doesn't mean you have to get away from the simple aspect of the game. You have to be able to adapt to certain situations. You have to be able to just not rely on people hitting home runs all the time, because it's just not going to happen. You're starting to fill the roster with people that it's home run or bust, and you need those certain situations when people aren't hitting home runs to play a little bit of small ball. You have you have the ability to do that. I mean, at this point, looking at the ninth, Abbott's gone 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 at that point. Maybe put Rakusin in or Burgess in. Put someone else in, and maybe something happens. Just don't let it fall. I get you want to trust your guys. I get it, but you also want to win games. The more games you win now, the less games after the All-Star break you may have to. The less games in the All-Star break that you're possibly going to have to win. You know what I'm saying? The more you grind now, and the more wins you get now, is the less that you need in the long term of things. I guess it was just a frustrating loss for me. To me, it was frustrating to watch. You do so well, and then you just kind of piss it all away. And that aspect of it. Running through the pitching line real quick for the RailCats, Harrison Francis went 5 2/3 innings. He gave 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Jack Eisenbarger, he went 3 innings, gave up 1 hit. He went 3 1/3 innings, and struck out 3 people. He did nothing outside of that. Aaron Phillips is tagged with the loss. He pitched 1 inning. He gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Obviously, the first run wasn't earned because it's a ghost runner or a person already put on second, so it's not against them. And gave up 1 walk. Jose Futas, he went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And then it was Jack Anderson in relief, pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, and struck out 1 person. And the winning pitcher is Logan Neeson. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run that wasn't earned, and 1 strikeout. Looking at the RailCats stat line here for the day, Javion Williams went 1 for 5 with an RBI. Michael Woodworth went 1 for 5 with 1 strikeout. Daniel Nguyen went 0 for 5. Michael Cruz went 2 for 3 with 1 home run and 1 walk. Jesus Mariaga had 2 hits out of 4 attempts. Alec Olid went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Sam Abbott went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Tom Walraven had 1 hit. Out of 3 attempts, he scored 1 run, walked once, and struck out once. Looking at the Kane County Cougars, De La Trinidad, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Lombardozzi, there we go, had 1 hit on 4 at bats, 1 walk. Randolph went 0 for 4 with 1 strikeout. Kerrigan went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Johnson went 0 for 3, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Busby had 1 hit, scored 1 run at 4 at bats. Pantejo went 0 for 4, and Lopez went 1 for 4. And Cribbs Jr. went 2 for 3, scoring 2 runs, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So, looking into the future for right now, so this will be the last podcast that I will be doing. Let me look at the schedule real quick. Until probably Thursday, which I don't think I close on Thursday, so I should be able to do something Thursday. So a week, actually, I'll be a full week. I leave for Vancouver, Washington tomorrow. I do not get back until late Monday night. I do have to work Tuesday night, and then I will spend the day. I'll probably be watching the game with the RailCats on that Wednesday, but I will be spending time with the fiance, so I will not be doing a podcast. So I'll take a week off. And then I'll come back. I don't think I close on Thursday, so it shouldn't be an issue. I'll be back on Thursday, hitting the road running. With these next 6 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you are facing the Milwaukee Milkmen, who are second behind the Chicago Dogs, who yet you play at home. So you go on the road and then you come back. Ideally, out of these 6 games, you need at least to go 500. You need to go 500. You need to win 3 of these 6 games. All right, you go 3-3, you hit 500. You're going to have to win a series somewhere. You have to win a series. If you could win both series, you can go 4-2, do it. Or sweep a series and, drop. But I think you need to go 500. Realistically, looking at the next 9 games, you need to go 5-4. You need to be above 500 because then you have Kansas City, but we'll get into that. But just these next 6 games, you need to go 500. All right, it's a must. To stay within the grasp of Kane County, to stay within the grasp of staying in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying when I'm looking here at the standings, because Lake Country is 3 games behind you. And then the Railroaders are 6 games behind you, and we haven't played them yet. But you just need to win these games. These games are must-win games. They're important games to win. I want this team, with them opening up the playoffs, I want this team to make the playoffs. I guess that's what's more frustrating about it, is because you have a chance to make the playoffs, which you haven't done in a handful of years, to finally make the playoffs. Because I think this team, if they can get into the playoffs, anything can happen. They have the ability to come back from being down 5-0 or 5-3 or being ahead 1-0 and closing games out. Is it early in the season for me to get frustrated about it? Yeah. But as someone that's been sitting here watching the games and seeing how this team is, they shouldn't be losing these games. Is what I'm getting at. These are the games that you kind of wish to have back. The games that you could have done something differently and maybe tried a little bit harder. I'm not saying that they didn't try. I'm just saying maybe from a coaching standpoint, or trying something unorthodox a little bit. Potentially like Williams hit a double, and in the 10th here, Williams hit a double. Maybe try to have him steal third, because then at that point, Woodworth hit a single, and Javion could have scored, or he could have sacked fly, and the game would have been tied. That's how you win games. Being aggressive. If they would have gone out and been aggressive and Javion got thrown at third, you know what I would have said? They were being aggressive and they were trying. Not having one of the fastest guys on your team not try to take third. Third is the easiest base to steal because you get such a big lead. Such a big lead. It's easier to steal than it is to steal second. Don't believe me? Most people will tell you that. Most people that have stolen bases will tell you that it's easier to steal third than it is second, just because the jump that you get. And Woodworth was a right-handed batter, so it's even harder for the catcher to get around Woodworth to even try to throw him out. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this podcast for at least a week. I will be gone on a travels. Gonna enjoy my time off away from work and some other stuff like that. Recoup a little bit. I'm hoping when I come back, the RailCats would have taken at least 500, or maybe taken a series, or maybe even take both series. I'd be fine with that. Going 4-2, take both series. But I'm your host, Kyle Savage. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Facebook and Twitter at RailCats Talk. If you comment, I will try to get back to you and comment back. Your point of view is always appreciated in my point of view, because I am not a person that is going to say your opinion doesn't matter, because it does, because everyone has an opinion and everyone has two sides to the story. I am not always right, and what I view is not always right. So sometimes I need to be taken down a couple notches, or have a different look on the baseball world of the RailCats. All in all, if you enjoyed it, happy, enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, and go Cats.